Okay, so we are live. I am Chloe, and this is WordStitch. Sandy is out again this week, so we have a guest host again.
Hey, it's Jay.
Hello, Jay. And hello, Devin. Thanks for joining. Also, I have my computer set up real dumb right now, so I just tried to move my StreamYard window onto another monitor that is not connected to that computer. So I'm doing well already. Why aren't you bouncing over here? Oh, because that's literally not the same computer. Yeah. So Jay, what are you working on today?
Werewolf political adventure again.
Awesome. Ignore that.
If this conversation could just end, I would be in heaven, but it's been 3 weeks now, and I would really like this conversation to be over.
Have you considered jumping and working on some other part of the story, or is this literally like all that's left in it and you don't have a choice in that one?
This is all that's left, and then maybe there's another political meeting and a couple of people ending up dead. That's it. But I need to finish this conversation and then move on to the other things and then finish that scene I skipped like 3 weeks ago.
Gotcha. So there's nowhere better to go from here. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, I just had to come back to it in 20 minutes anyway.
Yes. I am also making very slow progress on things, but that's because I am working on the demon romance. And every time I have tried to work on it in the last week, I've had some computer or whatever disaster happen. So like the last time I tried to work on it, I thought I would do that fun live streaming the actual words on Twitch thing that a bunch of people do. And then game in between and have like a whole writing and gaming thing. And then my system was like, I'm just going to buffer forever. Don't mind me. So that died and I got mad and didn't pick it up again that day. And then I was going to work on it today, but instead I finished up this book that I started last night that I had assumed was from like a real green author who just didn't know what she was doing and didn't have the wherewithal to proofread, to get things proofread. And then after I finished reading it, I discovered that she has 30 books that she put out in the last 2 years. And she's got tons of reviews, but like on every single one of them, a good portion of them are very negative reviews about how she doesn't edit her work.
Hey, Rose.
So I just posted a very large, long blog rant about it. And I left a very nasty review because it does not connect to my pen name in any way. It's actually Ken's Amazon account, so it's completely untraceable. And I put myself up on Fiverr for proofreading romance novels because, like, this is ridiculous. There's no reason you shouldn't be getting your books proofread. If like it's one thing for me, I don't pay for proofreaders, but I also don't have any negative comments about my proofreading.
Hey, Chloe.
Yeah.
Devin needs you to move the Cheez-Its. They're getting obsessed.
Oh my God. Cheez-Its. They're all D-brand.
Well, now I'm hungry too.
Oh gosh, I apologize. I ruined everybody's day. Also, hello, Rose. But yeah, so it was just my whole day got derailed. But also, if anybody is writing romance and wants their book proofread for an extremely reasonable rate, hit me up.
I have to be honest. If I read a book and I'm like, I have read fanfics with better editing than this, I close the book and walk away. It's not.
So if this is somebody's first book, I will give them the benefit of the doubt and I will look at another book and see if it's any better. Or if it's like a well-established author and it's their first book, then like I'll pick up like a later one and see where it goes. I'm not going to automatically discount you because you put out a book in 2013 and you didn't know how to edit it at the time. So I usually give the benefit of the doubt on the first book, but this was a book that was published like, you know, in the last year, and she's put out like 30 books in the last 3 years. So this is just
honestly, if most of your reviews are about editing, then maybe you need to like go do the editing. And
yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm like, this is exactly why self-published authors get such a bad rap, because of people doing shit like this. So I get real heated about it.
I have a tendency to like, I mean, honestly, bestseller books aren't even like a good indication of when it's going to be a good book.
I found this on Amazon's top 100 for the genre. That was the other thing, is like, not only was it like there were so many problems, but another problem was the fact that the reason I picked this book up was because it was the first book in the top 100 that was available in Kindle Unlimited. So like, this is literally the top of the genre right now on Amazon.
Oh God, yeah.
She's the representative of that genre right now, and she doesn't get her stuff proofread.
Like, I have a couple of opinions on it, and I'm trying to get my brain to put them together.
Let's go ahead and get. Sorry, this got attacked by a cat. Let's go ahead and get our first sprint in, and you can get your opinions in that time, or worked out in that time. Okay. Well, let me grab the correct mouse first, because again, I'm working on 2 computers. Okay. So we are writing for the next 10 minutes. It is 4:08 because we are running slightly behind, but that's okay. So we'll see you guys at 4:18. Good luck, everybody. Okay, I am back. I swear, I was back the whole time. I just forgot how everything on this computer worked. One day I'll be smart enough for this, I swear. Also, Jay is back. So yeah, we are
Turned
good.
on the wrong thing.
Gotcha. Let me know how y'all did. I did not get sidetracked at all by a list of the horoscopes by Taco Bell. I did get a little bit of writing done. I got 95 words written.
Taco Bell horoscopes?
Yeah.
I've been distracted by weirder things. At least it wasn't a rabbit hole about fiber.
This is fair.
Just FYI, if anybody wants like information about fiber crafts and stuff, I can get that to you very easily. I am actually going to go grab Cheez-Its really quick, so I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
So yeah, let me know how you guys did. I decided to use I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure this out. I tried to use the NaNoWriMo site to do word count tracking for this project so I can give you guys the numbers better, because I just started the project. It's only at 3,000 words. I figure like do it now and then I'll get that like extra sense of accomplishment by putting stuff in and blah blah blah. This does not seem to give the stats that it gave for actual NaNoWriMo. And the more I look, the more I use the NaNoWriMo website, the more I hate this stupid thing, and I wish it would just go back to how it was before. Because what? Wait, did I find it? I found it. Okay, no. Never mind me. Everything is fine. It says not under project anymore. It's under stats. It's fine. Okay. Jay, did you get your Cheez-Its? Jay might not be able to hear me yet.
I got Cheez-Its. I am back.
Awesome.
I can mostly hear you. It got really robot-y there for a second. Probably my fault.
Oh, yeah, you're moving around. It's probably that.
And also the cheese things.
That's
yeah.
Yeah, I prefer the old site on pretty much all accounts. I especially love the old site because it wasn't obvious that you were moving to a different site when you went to the forums. That it looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible.
It's like all of the worst bits of the Camp NaNoWriMo issues shoved into a new website with a shitty forum and a couple of extra helpful features, but it feels like the community got completely nerfed.
Yeah, and it's funny, and it was like you said, like those. I remember when they made the announcement that they were coming out with a new site and that Camp Nano was going to be merged into Nano, and I was all excited because I figured that they were going to get rid of like the shitty mechanics in the cabins, and instead they turned the entire site into cabins. I was expecting cabins to turn into more like forum threads, and instead they turned regions into cabins. Yeah.
And basically they've outsourced their community to Discord where nobody else can see it, and I have opinions about the various NaNoWriMo communities because I've been through a whole bunch of the Discord and Chatsy ones. I started out on Chatsy back in like 2013 because that NaNoWriMo, my entire cabin was dead silent. First week, everybody was chatty, and then they just died.
Yeah.
So I found a Chatsy, went to there. Chatsy was like an old chat forum. type.
When I was
not
at
like
Lama's ML, we were
not
still on good chatting. So yes.
quite. I
remember all
forget
of
what the
it.
acronym is for. It's like IRS repeater or something.
Mm.
And so I jumped into there and we called it Camp Chatsy. It worked. It worked great. 2 of the people are now married. I have one person who has changed genders twice and names 5 different times.
It happens.
Mooney, I love you. You're just confusing. And like, and it's just like, and that year, that first couple of years was great because it was very interactive, very RP like, and then we tried to move to something else that went horrifically. And I ended up, I'm back with that group now. I'm not really active in there anymore, but I jumped between a couple of the different Discord forums and between the 16-year-old that went on a drunken rampage on her 2,000 person server and started banning people, and then would not promise the mods that she would not go on another drunken rampage, and then sent her younger brother, who was like 14, to start spying on other NaNoWriMo Discords.
I mean, should I even ask why a 16-year-old was modding this group?
No, she was the admin. She was the one who started it.
Oh, then you just like get out of that group.
Yeah, no. I had an entire chat room that was just like all the people who fleed. And it's dead now, but for a solid year there, it was pretty active. And like, there are some groups that are great, and other times there's entire servers that are just like all the toxicity of Twitter condensed into teeny tiny rooms, and it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
And there's a reason.
I've had weird experiences with Discord. I certainly I'm in a couple of groups that I love, but like I've also been in a group where 3 times one of the group members called me racist for comments that were not racist, that everybody else in the group said were absolutely not racist. The final one, I don't remember what the other 2 were, but the final one was me mentioning the custom of Chinese people taking English names when they move to America. I was accused of being racist for mentioning that custom. And this happened 3 times, great big blow-ups 3 times. Every single time, everybody was like, she's not being racist. Nothing about this is racist. And they never did anything about her because, God forbid, you mute somebody who is calling people racist. So I had to leave that group. I've
had that a couple of times, and like, I have a unique perspective on that. My dad is half Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, he and my mom got married when I was 3, so while I am not like actually his child, I am a part of his family. He raised me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, that happens, and sometimes you keep old names. Sometimes you use a nickname at work and stuff, because otherwise, good lord, nobody's going to remember what your name is, unless you live in an area with a lot of people with similar names where people have learned what the phonetics is. But if you live in if you move to Iowa, nobody is going to be able to pronounce your name if it's like,
and
I've got a cousin named Penny and one named Yuan, and
there are some Asian countries where people who move to English-speaking countries don't change their names so often. Most of my Korean friends, most of my Japanese friends still have their Korean or Japanese names, but most Chinese people, it's just the custom that they do it. It's one of those things that's really interesting when you read up on it, and you've said, I don't know anybody from Vietnam, so I can't speak to that, but you're saying that this is also something that some Vietnamese people do. It's, again, I've got a cousin who talking about race does not make you racist.
I have a cousin who they have a name that is Vietnamese, but they go by Dizzy. It's on all their social media and everything. They go by Dizzy, and Dizzy is one of my cool cousins, and is probably one of the few people I'm ever going to recognize at the next wedding because my dad's mother is one of 9.
Oh gosh.
Um, I have a lot of cousins. I have a lot of aunts and uncles. My dad can barely keep them straight, and none of us can either. We've got a couple over here that like I am actually really attached to. Benny and Luan are great. And the thing is, probably part of why the Chinese custom is like that, they've been emigrating to America since the since like the 1800s. So while some people might choose to keep their old names, some people are just going to follow the regional tradition and change it, or they're going to get advice from older family members and stuff. And
Yeah.
like if your great uncle who lives over here is like, you need to change your name or it's
Yeah.
not going to go well, they're going to change their name.
And the thing is,
And
that's not necessarily a good thing that they have to do it, but it exists outside of whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, I wish they didn't have to do it or they didn't feel obligated to do it. Certainly, the historical reasons behind it were not good historical reasons, but that doesn't change the fact that it is what it's done.
And at the same time, I have family members who immigrated here in the late 1800s, early 1900s. I'm named after my great aunt Juliana Haiju.
Mm-hmm.
My great grandfather Lajos changed his name to Louis when he moved here. He's Hungarian.
Yeah.
Like, if your name was Georgi, you changed it to George. You
Yep.
just had to change your name.
Yeah. Again, it was a real weird thing for me to get called racist for saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after this, we'll go back to the book thing.
Yeah, let's go back. Yeah. We'll go back to the original topic. Okay, so we're gonna go for 25 minutes this time. It is 4:30 in Atlanta, so we will see you guys at 4:55. Good luck, everybody. All right, we are back. All sorts of excitement on my end as pet ownership is what it is.
That poor cat is terrified at the darn
The
fish.
good news is that well, yeah, but the good news is that the other cat did not barf on my bed because that was what was setting all of that off was her making barfy sounds, me going to throw her onto the floor because it's a hardwood floor, and then accidentally hitting the fish.
Yeah.
As I did that. So I got 401 words, and I am going to accept that as the victory that it is. Also, hello to Kate and Pronoun and Allie. Thanks for joining.
I got
how
like
did you
150,
do,
so pretty good. My
nice.
general distracted word count.
Yeah.
And then I think we were going to talk about the book thing, and then we got distracted by other things. Also known as the shittiness of the Momo
so
website.
Your opinions on that damn site. Your opinion on proofreading, though.
I understand the self-published writers who like just push things through, but if you're going to publish something, you need to edit it. You need to edit it. Unless you're a 14-year-old publishing their first through fifth fan fiction, you do not get a pass on this. And you know what? Even then, most 15-year-olds figure it out by the fourth person going, you need to hit enter after every new speaker. You need to hit enter after every new speaker. I can read.
So this is also something real interesting little tidbit that might actually cause somebody to know who I'm talking about, but that's okay. This author also has a whole bunch of published. I didn't know that this was okay, but I guess it is. She has published Pride and Prejudice.
Because Pride and Prejudice.
Like
the copyright ran out on that. So Pride and Prejudice is one of the ones she can publish. Like Sherlock Holmes.
That makes sense. They also have terrible reviews. One of them had 2.7 stars. I don't know that I've ever seen a review that low before.
Yeah. And so
anyways,
it's in the same category as like Greek mythology and like Sherlock Holmes and things like that. And
that's true. Yeah.
We're getting a whole bunch of new stuff into the uncopyrighted or like ran out of copyright grounds. But so, and on top of that, if you are self-publishing, I expect at least the quality of a mid-level fanfic of the same like length. If you're publishing something that's around 1,000 words, I expect it to be as good as like the average one-shot. If you're publishing something with 14 chapters, it needs to be about as good as the average 14-chapter fanfic in like one of the bigger fandoms. If you are publishing something that is hot garbage, you cannot expect people to pay for it and be happy.
Yeah.
And so, and on top of that, I think we got into this, like, I do not consider the top 100s like a measure of quality, not in fanfic and not in real books, because 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight were both bestsellers, and so is the Mortal Instruments series. And there are some, and actually, 50 Shades of Grey started out as a highly rated fanfic too.
Yeah.
Like one with a lot of hits. And so it doesn't actually measure quality very well.
Well, and you know, I mentioned those. I didn't name any of them by name, but I did mention the fact that, like, I don't go out of my way outside of, like, this little group. I don't go out of my way to shit talk books like that because
you cut out. That might be on my end. Hold on. Okay, I still can't hear you.
Oh God. What have I done?
Okay, so there's 2 of you now.
I don't.
Okay,
I
just tell me what your point was.
Oh, but anyways, like at least with those books though, as bad as they are, the writing itself like is properly edited. They've at least done what they needed to for them to make it the best that they were capable of doing. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
I have heard otherwise on 50 Shades of Grey, and I have seen otherwise in the second Twilight book. Newman is my favorite.
I've never read any of the Twilights, but like I can say for 50 Shades that like it's well edited. It's a shitty book, but it's well edited. Like again, for what that book is, it was still edited.
Honestly, all that 50 Shades proves to me is that the modern like ew, teenage girls suck, like cooties thing that happened to fan fiction. So many more people need to read fan fiction because, honey, there is a lot better, more accessible, free writing out there that you can read that isn't that drivel.
Also, with erotica, same thing.
Like, you know what? You will have writers that know how to say dick and cock and make it sexy and use proper anatomy. Because if you publish, like, improper fanfic smut, people will kill you.
That's good. I'm glad
your review section will not be nice. You will not get hits, and what hits you do get will be followed by "this sucked. You need to fix this, this, and this." There has been a movement within the fanfic community to review and like actually review more often, and don't only negative review, which is necessary because fanfiction is free. If the only thing you get is negative reviews and flame wars and all that stuff, then you're going to stop writing.
Yeah.
Or you're going to stop publishing. And so learning how to positively review things, review every chapter is important. And it's really good to give people feedback. And so it's not as helpful to negatively
medium. That's the other thing.
Free.
There's a huge difference between something that you get for free and something that you pay for. I don't expect my fan fiction to be perfectly edited. I don't expect them to pay money if they cannot handle editing on their own. I'm not expecting anything perfect out of it because you're doing it for fun. You're doing it for free. When you're actually out here writing 30 books in 3 years and publishing them.
You need to actually be editing that.
You need to respect the reader.
And there are writers out there who do publish a new thing for 99 cents every month, and it's like erotica, and it does well if you edit it. If it's well edited and you put it out every month, people are going to like you. If you do not edit it well and you put it out every month, people are going to hate you.
And I'm also not.
It is entirely
you need to pay to get edited every time if you don't have to. But some people do. Yeah. Some people cannot do edits on their own, and it's unfortunate for them. But here we are. Although, honestly, I don't even think this author does more than her first edit pass. I feel like she probably just does her rough draft and does a single edit to fix,
If I make anything public, even if it's an email or fan fiction, I run it through Grammarly and Inkit and as many editing engines as I can find. And sometimes I'm I don't care about the fact that my past participle is wrong because I don't even know what that is. Does it look and sound good? Okay. Is everything spelled correctly? Do I have the synonyms down? Did I repeat the same word 5 times in a sentence? No. 5 times in a paragraph? No. Okay, we're good.
That's why I was on Hemingway today, because I wanted to make sure that my blog post about this was not riddled with this very thing that I'm bitching about.
Sometimes you need an automated English teacher that isn't going to argue back with you when you say you don't have to change this particular thing.
Exactly. I realize that the way that I word sentences can be confusing, and that's what you're going to have to suffer through. Let's go. Oh,
I
go
think
ahead.
that doesn't work as well for science fiction, though. You do need a person to edit because none of them are going to be able to understand like
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
fake words and stuff you've added into it. If it's like some sort of magical thing, you have to go to a person.
Yeah, no. I do this for blog posts, and that is it.
Yeah.
We are going to write for the next 30 minutes. It is 6 past, so we'll see you guys at 36 past. Good luck, everybody. Okay, we are back. I sucked. I didn't get that much work done. That's okay. Courtney,
I got
popped
about
up
400
and
words.
nice. Courtney popped up and mentioned that she's finally reading The Raven Boys, which reminded me that a YA author that her first series came out quite a few years ago and I read and I loved. I just found out that she has another series and I was like, oh, I should go check that out since I'm coming off of a really bad book. And also, because the last YA I read was These Violet Delights, and I really liked it, but the sequel's not out yet. So I looked up this author and to find that book, and it's not available on Kindle Unlimited, and it's not available in Google Play. And if it's not available in either of those locations, I won't read it. So I guess I'm not reading it, and it's not available at my library.
I've got 6 books on my Kindle, and that's about it. Yeah. Uh-oh, there everything goes again.
I have all these credits through Google Play. I've got $75 in credits in Google Play. So I'm not going to spend actual money on Amazon when usually a book, if it's not in Kindle Unlimited, it's going to be in Google. That's crazy. For some reason, the audiobook for it is available on Google and not the actual book. And I don't do audiobooks. So
I don't listen to audiobooks.
Oh, I got 223 words on that. Sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah. All right. Am I back? Are things going to actually listen to me now? I think so.
Back?
I think I'm back.
Okay.
I can actually hear things now, and you are not a robot. Which happens sometimes.
Yay! Not a robot. I mean, not that you know of, right? Anything is possible.
I have to say,
the cat actually did go after the fish, so that was also a big distraction during that. Yes.
Oh, and so my brain was doing a thing, and now it's gone. Right. Okay. Okay, does anybody else get annoyed when you look at a summary for a book and it's all reviews saying it's the ethereal book of the year or whatever, and nothing that actually tells you what the book is actually about?
Yes, absolutely. That infuriates me. And I feel like it infuriates me on a deeper level than it would the average reader. I'm not putting you on the average reader level, but it infuriates me more than it would somebody on the average reader level because I know how easy it is to get little blurbs like that. And it just usually, worst case scenario, it costs you money. And doesn't actually reflect the book in any way.
And part of it, maybe it's part of me, is because I'm spoiled by AO3 and all of the tags and stuff. But, at least tell me, I don't have to know the name. I don't have to know the great adventure. Tell me what the emotional experience is going to be like. Tell me what the genre is. And,
yeah.
Honestly, I don't actually feel like genres actually tell me all that much, because almost every book out there is going to have a romance in it. I get that romance novels are specifically based on romance, and so I know that if I pick up a romance novel, it's going to be a story about a girl and a boy, or a couple. There's going to be a romantic journey, there's going to be some sort of I fucked up, I'm sorry, and then they will move on. YA novels have a tendency to be a bit better about the summary thing, but unless you walk into the history section, I feel like the genre doesn't tell me anything. Okay, it's sci-fi. Is this sci-fi with witches and dragons? Is this sci-fi like Star Trek? Is this sci-fi we're going to get very specifically into how coding and looms work? Is this sci-fi it's going to tick off my dad with the scientific inaccuracies of how satellites work? what sci-fi am I getting into?
Yeah.
My dad's an aerospace engineer, so gravity very specifically pisses him the fuck off with because that he specifically works in satellites and communication. So the way the satellites bounce into each other, it's like, no, they wouldn't even be in the same orbits. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't happen. And they certainly wouldn't have people out on a spacewalk during that. There are calculations for that. And so it's actually really funny.
I don't have at all the background that I need to be so opinionated on the subject because I suck at history and biology. I am a physicist who also has a degree in English, but I still have a really strong opinions about the time travel genre and the fact that, like, the problem with time travel romance is if you go back 500 years in time, you'd be dead. There's and not like
I want to hear this.
Like the physics behind it, but for the fact that your gut biome literally would not be able to handle. I mean, I literally cannot go into Mexico and drink their water. Like I cannot consume what they have.
Okay, actually, I want to know more about this.
What was that?
I actually want to know more about this because this is an entire thing I had no idea about, and now I'm very curious.
So that's the reason that like people get sick when they go to foreign countries and eat their food, even like not even talking about going like from a first world country to a second world country, but like anywhere. Your body, it's a lot of it is with the proteins, but obviously also like with water and stuff. But it's the reason that people react poorly to beans in America. It's why they react poorly to tofu in America because our bodies are very much set up. It's the reason that if I started eating meat again, I would get terribly sick from it.
That's the thing I knew because my friend was vegetarian and they had duck recently, and apparently their body is just not. They can handle animal meat, but they're raised like all fat is evil, so they didn't have animal fat, so they ended up puking for like 3 hours the other day because they had duck for the first time.
Yes, and your body gets used to it, but like you have to survive it. And the problem with going back in time is that the water is not purified to the standards that our bodies are used to. So when you get sick from the food, you're going to have diarrhea, and then you're going to drink the water to rehydrate, and you're not going to be able to because the water is also going to make you sick. So there's like
what about the alcohol?
I mean, alcohol does not hydrate you.
Well, because didn't they have, if I'm remembering correctly, they specifically used like watered down wine and watered down beer to disinfect the water.
They did. But it's only going to work so far. And again, like I cannot stress enough that like Mexico certainly does have purification processes with their water. And as Americans, we most likely cannot handle it if we go there. Just because go ahead.
That's a good thing to remember when I move to Iowa.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
It's going to take a while to get used to it. But yeah, so like this is something that's very, it's very commonplace. It's the same as like if you try to eat in India, and it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they're, I guess you consider India to be second world. They're kind of in a weird place with that. But it's just like what they eat is so different from what we eat
where they get the food.
Yeah. So, and like stuff that they eat perfectly fine, we get sick from. But like, so that is an issue. There's also like an issue with the rampant lice. You will have lice. There is an issue with like clothing and the fact that you will be a witch and that you're not going to understand anything. And they talk about, there's always that like, well, I have troubles understanding you because of your accent. And like when you're going 500 years back in time, like it's not even a different accent, it's a different language.
Yeah, you're going from modern English to like Middle English at best.
Yes.
Unless you understand Scots, you're fucked.
I have a lot of feelings on it, and like I don't think that the genre should not exist. Obviously, like you have to pad the food death thing and like make it not so terrible as that. But I mean, even going down to like bathroom policy or like how that works depending on the time frame you're in. Do they have any sort of a toilet system? Is it an outhouse? Is it like an extra thing that's there? Is there nothing
Or
at
is it
all?
like
What
or is it like 1600s England where every single person has cholera 90% of the time because
Yes. So that's another thing beyond food. There are also just all of these diseases that we're not used to getting. And again, if you need like example that this is absolutely a thing that happens, look at what happened to the Native Americans. They were given all of these diseases that the Europeans survived perfectly fine and their bodies could not handle.
And the theory behind why Native Americans didn't have diseases to give back is because they didn't have the same system of cities that we did in Europe. So you didn't have the constant flow of bodies from the from the farming areas to feed the deadly diseases that were killing everybody in the cities. They were much more spread out. They were just as advanced in certain areas, but like they weren't as close together, packed in bodies. And also they didn't have quite the same like feudal system. If you had a disagreement with somebody, you just moved.
Yes.
Like you didn't just stick there or say throw plague bodies over the walls of Venice until they'd all died. Genghis Khan.
And mind you, I don't actually hate the genre. There are some whoops, I got a weird thing happening on my computer.
I think for you it would have to be more of a like a wizard did it time travel versus you got stuck in a time machine. It used power, went 500 years back. Like, there would have to be magic involved for you to, like, handle it.
I'm with Outlander. Outlander, they did a very good job. Everything is very well explained, how she is able to adapt to that time frame. Things are a hot mess for a while. I'm good with that. Karen Marie Moaning also wrote a time travel romance series, and she did well with it, where there were all of these little problems that popped up. And also there's this craziness with these series where these series keep going forever and ever and ever. And it's like just a stream of modern women like
just ending up in the past. And it's like, it doesn't.
30 books in, like, okay, well, can we just completely stop with this premise?
Also,
but yeah.
If I got time traveled 40 years in the past, I'd still want to commit murder. Yeah. I don't think I could handle the 1600s.
Yeah, also, like, dealing with, like, lady stuff. The fact I'm sorry, but, like, you know, all of these books end with the happily ever afters, and, you know, the next book pops up, and the woman from the first book is pregnant, and I'm like, there's literally not a chance in hell that I would get pregnant in 1523. No way. I mean, I'm not doing it because I know my chance of survival. We are not having kids, sorry.
Yeah, see, I'm pretending to be a boy and hopping on a ship because
there's that too.
Not to mention the fact that like corsets and skirts and stuff are very, very girly and would make me want to, like, you know, fucking die.
The one that I read last, she just, like, figured it out. She was like, yeah, I wish I had taken that offer of help, but I figured it out on my own. Like, no. Even women from then could not figure it out on their own and needed help. You're a cop from New York City. You are screwed.
Like, honestly, well, to a certain extent, birth does run itself on its own. You need people there who know what the fuck they're doing, or you are a corpse.
Yeah, like they don't. I mean, I feel like people seem to forget with a lot of these things that the reason that we survived 500 years ago was because we didn't. We just pumped out so many kids that, like, you know, half the kids could die of all of these diseases that we now have vaccines for. And like once mom popped out the kids, she wasn't really that necessary anyways. And like, you know, you go back far, literally didn't name kids for like a year because like, why are you going to name it when it's probably going to die?
I've heard of situations where like they don't name the kid till they're like 12.
Yeah.
So
let's go ahead and do our last sprint out.
Yeah.
I have feels. I'm sorry. Come on, we're not doing 30.
No,
Don't
this is
worry.
fascinating. I
We're
love
doing
this.
we're doing Ted. Okay, we'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Okay, we are back. Cats made a mess of that Sprint for me. They want to eat, so they're chewing on my ankles like little assholes. But I did get a bit of progress. I got 165 whole words in that. How's you do, Jay?
Let's see. Okay, now I think I can see you now. You are not a robot. Seems to happen every time we come back from a sprint.
Now I'm curious. I'm like looking back through the last thing to make sure it's her, not me.
Probably my connection. This happens every time we come back from a sprint.
That probably is.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back now.
Yeah, because it looks like it's running pretty close. I had that weird issue with Twitch the other day where I wasn't even gaming. I was literally streaming my writing app and it was glitching like crazy on me. So now every time I see glitching, I'm like, oh, it's me. I'm dying. Oh my God.
To be fair, you've had a really rough couple of weeks when it comes to computer issues, and also somebody did manage to knock down your power line.
Yeah, it's been a whole ass. This whole year is to spend 2020.
3 days.
I'm not.
3 days till it's over.
Any hope into that.
I'm not gonna say that next year is going to be better. I'm not going to say that next year is going to be worse. Yeah. But next year will be a new year, and that will be a different kind of weird. To quote a friend, the world is always weird, but tomorrow is a new weird. Yeah. So hopefully the new weird's better than the old weird.
Were you able to get anything done in that sprint?
I got like 100 words, and then I got lost trying to find out whether or not I had put down Misha's age anywhere, and I did. It's somewhere. I don't remember where, but it's somewhere in those 50,000 words.
Yeah, I'm
almost done.
I know that one. Oh, excuse me. I know that one. The good news is that as long as you keep it in mind when you do your edits, you can catch it in edits if you screw up and give it a long age.
I'm just gonna say he's like 17.
That works.
Or I think he might be 19. Yeah, he was 19. All right, now I remember.
There you go.
He's gonna be 19 until I do edits.
All right.
How did everybody else do?
Nobody's telling us today, and that's okay. It's one of those days.
It happens.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna end it here. Any outgoing words from you? Outro. That is what I was trying to say. All
right, I'm fairly sure my channel's down in the doobly-doo. I haven't done a stream in like a month because my life has been hell, but if y'all want to stream, I will do it. I'm writing about werewolves for the most part. I usually do fanfic and stuff, but I also do original writing. I think that's about it.
Awesome. I am Chloe Alice Balkin, and I do write paranormal on Amazon, and a very little bit of it is wide. And also because of this whole thing with this book that got me real mad, I am going to be throwing my hat into the ring for proofreading, but I'll have more info on that next week when I get approved for it. Devin also just kindly posted some more live streams that are coming up today. So thank you for that. And on that one, you guys all have a great day, and I will see you either tomorrow at 8 a.m. or Wednesday at 8 p.m. or Thursday at 10 a.m. or Friday at 8 a.m. is my schedule for this week. And hopefully we'll be getting some cameos from Sandy coming up, but we'll see about that. She is home She's doing well. She was unable to make it today because of a doctor's appointment. So I think that is everything for us. So you guys all have a great night. Bye. There we go.